Hey, hello, good evening everyone. This is Ansh and today we are going with our first topic to discuss about, that is Oracle database architecture. So till now I'm pretty much sure that you guys are aware with the purpose of database, why we all are here to learn about database. So let's start with Oracle database architecture. Okay, so first of all, let me brief you about Oracle. What is Oracle? Oracle is just a company and it has n number of products, and among n number of products it has one of the most popular product, that is database, what we call as a Oracle database. So in most of the environments, most of the business applications, there is a database being used, among which the most popular database used is Oracle, because it provides DR setup, that is disaster recovery setup, high availability solution. It is providing support also. That means if anything bad happens to your database, then you are not able to resolve that issue, then you can raise a concern with the Oracle team, and Oracle support will resolve that issue. It will make your database up and running fine back again. So in that case, in support case, they require some amount of because we require some amount of um, uh, we have to pay to them huge amount of money to for the support. Suppose they are providing support for 1 year and the database version is 11G, so they will charge a huge amount of money. If it is 12C, then it will also different charges for the support. So for supporting charges, Oracle takes, and if we have the support facility, then Oracle is willing to help us. If you are not, suppose you have a 12C database and 11G database in your company, and 12C database is not being supported by Oracle, you haven't didn't paid Oracle for the 12C support, only you have taken the support for 11G. Oracle will support for 11G, obviously. But if you are raising some concern for 12C, they will fetch the records and they will identify, okay, 12C is not supported to that organization, so they will directly deny. They will say, okay, go and pay to Oracle for the support, and then they will help us. So for supporting purpose, they have the multiple accounts like MOS, the most popular account, what we call as a My Oracle support. Whenever you are going to work with any of the organization, you should have your own user ID dot company name dot com, right? If you are working with Oracle, then your name will be xyz dot your title abc at the rate oracle.com. So this will be your domain ID from which you will be able to log into My Oracle support. And My Oracle support is just a meta-link website where all type of support request can be raised depending on the priorities that we will be discussing in the later sections. Along with they will provide the solutions on that only. You have some problems, some issues related to the production databases, all type of errors you will be getting on that My Oracle support. If you want to download some patches, they will be providing all type of patches on My Oracle support. If you have the access of My Oracle support, then you are good to go and download any of the patches, any of the binaries for free. If you don't have the access to My Oracle support, then you won't be able to download. Yeah, there are multiple open sources where you can go and download it, but to be in safer side, you should be having a Oracle support account, and you can only have when you are going for working as an organizational DBA. They will be paying huge amount of money to Oracle support to get it supported, and from there only you will be getting access of My Oracle support. So as a layman, one can say that okay, Oracle is a company, among that and number of product Oracle makes, and one of the most popular product is database, that what we call as a Oracle database. So you are saying, okay, this is Oracle database, so how to communicate with the database? For communication medium, we have a language. Suppose we as an individual, if person 1 is talking to person 2, he belongs to India and the person 2 belongs to US. So what happens here? This Indian person know English as well as Hindi, and this US person only knows English. So if you are going to talk with that person too, which is living in US in Hindi, he might be understanding if he has done the course or he knows Hindi in the earlier scenario. But if he is he didn't understand Hindi, though you are talking with him in the Hindi, he will not be understanding that thing. So it's better to speak in English for the communication with the person who is in US, because the language which he understands is English. So you have to learn English, or the person in the US should know Hindi. Then only you can do the communication. So in a similar way, suppose we have a database called Oracle database, and you as a DBA know only English or Hindi or whatever language you want, you knows. Okay, and Oracle database knows language known as SQL. So while communicating with the Oracle database, you should know English. Oracle database should know English or Hindi, else you should know SQL. If you know SQL, then you will be able to communicate with the database. So that is why we are going to learn SQL, that is structured query language. So this is a language where you can communicate with your database. If it is a SQL databases like Oracle, Postgres, MySQL, then you should learn SQL language as a medium for the communication with the databases. Once you learn the medium, the SQL languages, you will be able to perform any of the operations like DDL operations, DML operations, transaction control language and data control language, everything. If you want to give some grant, if you want to revoke it, if you want to commit some data, you want to roll back something, okay, in DDL, suppose create, alter, drop, truncate, if you want to do, if you want to perform insert, update, delete. So all these operations you can easily perform when you are very much confident on a language called SQL. So to learn Oracle database, it's better to go with SQL language first, then only you can communicate with the database. So this is the communication method, how we can communicate with the database, that is the SQL language. And in the previous sections we have already gone through the installation steps, over which we can see that the base layer is the operating system. Operating system can be anything. It can be Red Hat Linux, Oracle Linux, or whatever Linux should be present. It is not that you are bound to use Linux only. You can use in Windows also. It's not a problem. But Linux is more secured, and most of the organization, approximately 90% of the organization, are using Linux platform for the operating system, and database is installed over this. Over OS there is a database software, and over that we have a database. And the database which we are going to study is the Oracle database. So moving forward with the version, you have seen that sometimes it is written 11G, it is written 9i, it is written 12C, written 19C. Currently you are saying that okay, this is 21C. So what does this mean? These are the different type of versions the Oracle has released. So in today's market, everyone is moving their database to 19C. Nowadays, every organization who is using 11G, 12C, 9i, everyone is moving their database to 19C. And the process of doing this is, number one, upgradation. The most popular thing that a DBA should know, upgradation, or if there is a hardware change and software change, so it's called a migration. So DB migration or DB upgradation is going on an enormous basis nowadays. So these are the version. G means grid, I means internet, C means cloud. So the architecture is most often very similar to each other. Suppose if you are learning 9i, 11G, 12C, most often it is very similar. But from 12C onwards, 12C, 18C, 19C, there is another concept came, what is called as a PDB and CDB, pluggable database and container database. In this scenario, we have to go through some more concepts related to PDB and CDB that we will be going through in our upcoming sessions. But as of now, you should understand that there is a minimal difference between 11G and 12C onwards. That is the concept of container database and pluggable database, nothing more than that. And C represents cloud. Currently, many organizations are using 19C databases because Oracle is going to not provide their support in 12C from 2022. If you want to get support from Oracle on 12C or 11G DB, so you have to pay huge amount of support charges to them. So most of the companies, what they are willing to do, they are just migrating or upgrading their database to 19C in terms of not paying so much amount of support charges. That is why they are migrating and upgrading the databases. So this is the concept of Oracle and the versions and the Metalink websites. So moving forward, we are here to learn about Oracle database. So you'll be saying we have studied about SQL and we are good with the queries. We knows how to create tables, how to insert data, how to update data, right? Or if you want to say that, okay, I have used DQL language, that means the select query. If you are selecting something from the sample schema, select star from HR.employees. So one can say, okay, I have fired this command, select star from HR.employees. HR is the schema name and employees is the database object, what we call as a tables. So in this scenario, we have to be so much confident that while firing this query, what happens at the background. It's pretty much simple. If you'll trigger this command, you'll be getting the output. That's it. Within the minimal seconds, you'll be getting the output. But what happens at the backend? That is our main concern, and that will be asked in your interviews as well as in the practical sessions also, in terms of tuning. If something bad happens to the database, if you want to tune something, you have to be your concept clear in terms of this background challenges, background things, what is happening at the background when a certain query is getting fired. So today we are going to learn on that aspect. So this is how a database architecture looks like for Oracle. So top one is SGA. Under SGA there is a component called shared pool, and shared pool contains library cache and data dictionary cache. Along with the second component in SGA is database buffer cache. Third component is redo log buffer cache. So these are the SGA components, what we call as a memory segments. Along with, there is one more memory component that is called as a PGA, that is program global area. We will go through each and every sections in more detail, but as of now, just look at a diagram. This is what a architecture looks like of Oracle. The first thing is SGA. Under SGA there are n number of components. It's not that only these few components are there. There are n number of components. So among n number of components, these are the most popular components that we have to learn and we have to get an idea in brief. So the first component under SGA, that is the memory part, is shared pool. Under shared pool we have two subcomponents, what we call as a library cache and data dictionary cache. Third component is database buffer cache, and fourth is redo log buffer cache. Coming to the bottom one, it is called storage, what we call as a database. That means where you store the physical data. So number one component is data file, second one is control file, and number third is redo log file. So storage medium consists of these three. And the mid section which you are seeing here is the background processes. And background processes contains more than 10 background processes, but most popular background processes are smon, pmon, dbwr, ckpt, and lgwr. So these are the most popular background processes, and sometimes in the interview you will be asked these questions: what is the functionality of smon, what is ckpt, what is the database buffer cache purpose, what do you mean by control file. So these are the things that can be asked. Okay, so moving forward with this component only, we will discuss each and every component in details, but prior to that, let me draw a diagram about this and let you know in brief. So our Oracle database is divided into three components. The main subdivision are number one, memory, that is the memory component. Number two is the background process, BG process, and number three is storage, or what we call as a disks. So with these three components, Oracle is being constructed. So we have to discuss each and every component in brief to understand, to tune, to know about our database in more clarity. We should know each and every component in brief. So first component is the memory component. If you are going to talk about memory component, you should be knowing that this memory is divided into two components. Number one is SGA and second one is PGA. Today we are not going in too deep, just understanding the naming convention, what does it means actually. Number one is SGA and number two is PGA. Full form of SGA is System Global Area, and PGA means Program Global Area. These are the two major components of memory. So our main objective is to understand SGA and PGA, but for few more sessions we will next few more sessions we will be discussing about SGA components in more details, and then we will go and understand about PGA. Suppose this is our memory component, what we call as a System Global Area or SGA. Under SGA we have multiple components. Number one component is, you can say the most important component is shared pool. Learn this diagram by heart because this can be used in your daily basis whenever you are going to frame the architecture design in your mind, how the SQL query is performing and all that. You have to know about the diagrams thoroughly. So the first component is shared pool, and shared pool contains two components, that is library cache and second one is data dictionary cache. Along with, there are a few more components. Number one is database buffer cache, and next few more components that we are going to discuss is Java pool, large pool, and you can say stream pool is also one type of pool, but the most popular one is redo log buffer cache. So these are the SGA components of memory architecture. So each and every component has its own importance, its own functionality that we are going to understand in our later sections. But as of now, you should be understanding that under SGA these many components are present. And after this memory component, we have some background components also, BG process also. Number one is known as SMON, that is what we call as a system monitor. Number two is PMON, what we call as a process monitor. Number three is DBWN, that is what we call as a database writer. There is significance why I'm writing N. It's not a DBWR, it's DBWN. We'll discuss it also in the later sections. Next is CKPT, what we call as a checkpoint. And next is LGWR, what we call as a log writer. Apart from that, there is archiver process also, there is MMNL, MMON and RBEL. There are multiple processes also that is running, but most popular component of the background processes are this SMON. Number two, PMON, process monitor, database writer, checkpoint, then LGWR, log writer, apart from that archiver, and multiple background process are there. And the final thing after background process is the last component, the last division is the storage one. Under storage we have number one, data file. If control file is present in your server, then if control file is there, then you have to say okay, this is the control file. If one control file is there, then it's good. If two control file is there, then I will draw a diagram of two control files. Next, moving with the redo log buffer cache. If it is 1, then it's 1. 2 redo log is there, then we can create 2. If more than 2 is there, then we can create 3 or 4 depending on the organization view. So let me write down the names of these. These are the data files. Yeah, data files can be also multiples. This is a control file. There are two control files by default. This is redo log file. Suppose this is redo log file 1, redo log file 2, redo log file 3. So these are the storage medium. And the second thing is background process. And the first component is our memory component, what we have shown here. So this diagram should be by hearted, and we will discuss each and every component in our later sections. One more thing I want to conclude here, that combination of SGA, that is memory component, and background process is what we call as an instance. And instance is nothing, it is SID. You guys are familiar with the term SID, I guess. SID is nothing, SID is a system identifier and what we call as a instance name. You should not confuse in between instance name and database name. Both are different. But in our case, if we are going to study about standalone server, that means single instance, so by default database name and instance name is same on that scenario. But I guess while learning SQL, you have logged into the database environment, log into our database. So how you usually log into the database? First you used to set the environment, set up the environment. How you set up? You can set the environment manually by exporting it, or simply you go and do .orinv. Then it will ask for the database SID. So this SID is only what we call as a instance name or SID. And SID is nothing, it's the combination of memory component, that is SGA, plus background process. So you have to mention the SID, and from where you guys get the SID? From the location etc/ora-tab. Under this file, you usually see in the bottom of the file that how many databases are configured on the server along with their home locations. So this is it for the first sessions. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.